All right, let's make a formal introduction for our listeners. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Claudia. I'm calling you from Washington, D.C., from the studios in Fairfax City. We're very humble, grateful that Ulf and Anja accepted our invitation to our show. Hey, guys, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's go back to the beginning. Were any of you born in a musical family? How old were you when you perhaps began taking, I don't know, guitar lesson or piano lessons when you were a little kid? Yeah, you can. Anyone can answer. Don't.
Yeah. I don't know if I were born in a typical musical family, but we were always listening a lot to music. And my grandmother and grandfather was into music, singing. But at home, it was more of playing records and dancing every Friday. And then when I was maybe 12, 13, with my friends, we started playing music with guitars and singing and making songs. And then we started a band like when we were 14, maybe 13, 14. And continued from there. And then my sister, she was a DJ playing a lot of hip hop in the basement. And she lived in London for many years. So I traveled there and went to clubs when I was quite young.
Oh.
And so a lot of different inspirations, like from classical and jazz from my grandfather, more 80s, 90s music from my father, and and all the hip hop and drum and bass from my sister. Yeah, so a lot of inspiration from different parts.
But you have always been singing, right?
Yes, at least from when I was like 11, 12. Yeah, and then I also started playing a bit of guitar at that age. Yeah. So that's the short version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of music? I mean, were you buying? I mean, with your sister, were you buying records, or you listen to the radio, or of course the internet didn't exist, so YouTube didn't exist, or Spotify didn't exist, right? So you will go to clubs and listen to a lot of bands and stuff like that, or at home?
Yeah. Yes. From like I think starting going to concerts when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
A lot of hip hop concerts at that time, and but also like when I was a bit older, like grunge concerts. Yeah. A lot of different genres, and in my 20s it was a lot of jazz concerts, experimental jazz as well. Yeah, at the place called Blå in Oslo. But buying records, yes. My father had like a collection of vinyl, and my sister always played vinyl, but at my age we started with CDs, so started collecting a bit of different CDs. And I remember like getting the Portishead CD, Björk, also different genres. But yeah.
So late 90s.
Late 90s, yeah. Yeah.
Right, and then so you any of you started in a band when you were 13, 14, and you knew back then that you wanna down the road be part of a band, or it was difficult to decide at the time, or was pressure in your family, because eventually you turn 18, right? You finish high school, and then either you want to go to university, get a job, or become a musician. Your parents telling you, no, forget about music. You're not going to make any money. It's a difficult lifestyle. People in music do a lot of stupid stuff. Don't follow that. Just get married, go to university, get married, have babies, or whatever. or you were able to do whatever you wanted to do in your life.
I was able to do whatever I wanted, but I think maybe more from my grandmother. She wanted me to do some education, and I think I have like a split brain. My brain is like in two, so the one is very logical, and the other is more like the artistic side.
The opposite.
The opposite. Absolutely opposite. So I'm maybe split, but I have like to use kind of both my brains for different things, and I like using both kind of. So so I couldn't decide. So it was more up to me when I was like 18, 19, 20 to I didn't want to choose. I wanted to do things that were more education, like I started studying astronomics at the point at the stage, and but at the same time doing music all the time. So and that was my own show. It was no one that made me do that. It was like my own decision. Yeah. But so now I still do both, kind of.
Yeah, got it. It's funny that you say that you have like two brains into one, because I'm exactly the same. I knew when I was a little that I was the same. I mean, on one hand, I'm a scientist, right? Computer scientist. So, but on the other hand, music, art, psychology is very important in my life. When I do too much on one side, the other guy on the here say, no, go back to here. When I do too much here, I go back to the other side. So it's I'm always racing in my head and doing both stuff. You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people have the capacity, I suppose, to do one more thing, and you gotta explore all your stuff. It's your life, and you gotta don't be irresponsible, but do a lot of things in life, and that's what I have tried to do. With music. Although, like I said before, I don't play any instrument. I don't know how to read music. I'm not interested in learning how to do it. Just listen to music for 2-3 hours a day, 50 years or so. And see so many concerts here for jazz, from rock, from pop, a lot of different things, different type of music are appealing to me. And there's some styles that I don't like, but music is beautiful, give you a lot of satisfaction, at least to me, especially seeing a band live.
Yes.
Like I went to a concert last night. I'm seeing another band tonight, 2 next week, and so we're being in front of a band that you know the song. They are going to be different, shorter, longer. The energy of the crowd, it is unbelievable to me. So
don't you often get disappointed?
Because the bands are different.
Songs or the sound, because just to elaborate, I think quite often I get disappointed because it's not as good as on record.
I'm very conscious about that stuff, right? So if I wanted to listen to the record, I stay home, right? Because I have, between vinyl, CDs, and Blu-ray, I have about 10,000, right? But I know it's going to be different, and I like it. There's going to be a different version, maybe in the record, a particular track that I like, maybe 3 minutes or so, and then a concert would be 4 or 5 minutes or 2.5 minutes, and maybe the members too have died or they went to another fan and so forth. But still the essence is the same, and I like it. Just live music, right? For example, let's start with Peter Gabriel, right? He's doing the I.O. tour, which is very different. This is very different from the stuff that we have done before, right? And of course, he would play some of the old songs, and I like it. I mean, I'm very happy just being in front of a band where you like the music. The energy of the crowd, people going crazy. You drink a couple beers, and I'm happy. I'm I'm flying to another space out
Hmm.
there, and then
And
I
me
drive. Huh?
too. And me, I agree with you. I'm very seldom disappointed in concerts. I feel like the interaction is very important, and I always get a bit starstruck in concerts because you see the people in real life.
Yeah.
Something different. I love listening to the original songs on the CDs and
No.
vinyls, but it's something else happens in concerts usually. It's like more, it's something different.
And then when I come back home, right, like last night, right? I was here around 11 p.m. and the song keep on playing in my head. It's hard to fall asleep after that because you are wired. And then this morning, I got, get up at 6 o'clock or whatever, get my coffee, and the song's still in my head. And I talk to myself, okay, now gotta concentrate in the interview. And a good example, for example, would be High as a Kite, right? High as a Kite, I really like the band. I like the old stuff, right? The new stuff, the new last two albums are very different, and they don't play all the old stuff anymore. And I never seen High as a Kite live because they play a lot of Norway, some show in the UK and stuff like that, but they don't come to the United States. So we're looking forward to flying to a country one day and see them live, and hopefully meeting the band after the show, take a picture. That for me is very important. It's that's more important than, I don't know, winning the Nobel Prize or something. That doesn't interest me at all. Though I have several college degrees and I teach stuff like that. There, like I told before, there's some part of me that I want to be a scientist, make a lot of money, travel the world. I don't know, be famous, be happy, whatever. But the other side of me, no, that's stupid stuff. Music is important. Art is important. Help people out is important. We live in crazy time. Look at the world in Ukraine. Had been going on for a year. How difficult it is to stop this Putin guy. If all the country get together, no, this needs to stop. If I were a politician, I would be very dangerous because I will make things happen. If I'm the president of the United States, I will fly to Europe tomorrow morning. I will talk to NATO, every country in Europe, and say, we need to stop the guy. It's not so difficult to do. I will put economic pressure, but very difficult economic pressure. I will talk to any member of, in Europe, any European country, and then, put a stop this guy. It's easy for me to say because I'm not the position. How in the world, man? It's crazy, So how many people are dying all over the world of hunger, and here in the United States, we have people that have owned billions of dollars. Billions of dollars, they don't know what to do with the money. Yeah. On the other hand, if God exists, it is a crazy world that we live in, maybe we'll kill one another and then we'll disappear as human species in 50 years, no more music. Hopefully the internet will be up and people will listen to this. We live in crazy time, and I want to be a pacifist and then help people out, All right. Do you remember the first time your parents heard you singing and saw the talent that you have?
No. No, I can't remember that. No. Probably a concert, with my first band, but I can't remember when that was. So,
but you knew that you wanted to be singing and be in front of stage, and
no, I don't think I knew. It just happened. We were like childhood friends, and my one friend Anja she was very good at guitar, and my other friend Marte, she her father was always like playing guitars, and we were singing a lot of Beatles songs, like from the age of like 10, 11, 12. So then when we were also more friends, and when we were hanging out, we were always like playing music and starting to making, in the beginning, most funny songs, like for humor, kind of, or maybe not humor, but more with quite funny lyrics. And then after a couple of years, we decided to start this band with only girls. So we got a very cool drummer from the school I was going to, and then we started like this band. And then, you know, things just happen. You don't always plan for it, or you think that, or plan that you're going to stand on a stage one day. It just like naturally evolves. So yeah, it started with this, my friends in this band. Yeah, in the beginning.
But what was your main feeling? That you wanted to have the attention, or that you wanted to sing? Because it's two different things, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's two different things. One was making. We were very making music was very important, kind of from the beginning, and it wasn't like the attention. I think mostly, as I remember it, it wasn't the attention. It was more that we had a lot of fun making music and playing music, and we had with this band. It was called the Chambermaids. Or actually, I think it's like pronounced chambermaids, but we were Norwegian, so we pronounced it a bit different. Chambermaids. But we were very, didn't want to do typical things, so we did everything very difficult, much more difficult than we were able to play. And we didn't want to make love songs. We were always like making lyrics that wasn't love songs. So I don't think we did it for fame. I think we mostly did it for, it was kind of our way to be young and having fun, mostly. And then, yeah, I think music for me, it started with this thing, and afterwards it was very, much more introverting when I came in my 20s, where it was like, where I could work with myself, my feelings, like these things. And always the process of making music is like very therapeutical, in a way for me. So I'm like very addicted to it, more than like finishing stuff. So I think, and just being in the states of making the creative process is very addictive. It's like my kind of zen, I would say. Where it's not like studying the garden. It's like more being in that process is very but wanting to be famous, probably there's been something about that during the years as well, but mostly it's about just doing music, being in music, making music. Yeah.
It's I could say a lot about several of these things, but you know, must remember there's one thing about Norway. It's a very small country, so I guess dreaming about being famous in Norway is not the same as in the USA, because the market is very small. So there's lots of reasons why it's not more difficult, but it's different in Norway. It's the chance to get famous is kind of smaller. The chance of getting rich doing music is actually quite, these days, very small. If at least if you sing in Norwegian. So you have to be a bit bolder in your dreams if you're in Norway than in the USA, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, right? You gotta do what you gotta do, right? If inside your head you wanted to do that, you wanted to do pursue music, and you start, you have no choice basically, right? So because you wake up in the morning, man, I like music. You put in my microphone, and I'm not that bad singing with my friends, and then, well, maybe maybe I'm introvert or very extrovert. Well, you have two options: either you do it or you don't, right? And then you talk a lot of, when you write the lyrics, you talk some fake, some fiction, right? Hey, I broke up with my boyfriend. His name is Johnny. Whatever. You don't want to say that, so but you need to open up. You need to open up, open yourself, and you write lyrics that are a little bit generic, but inside your head, yeah, you're talking about that guy that broke your heart, or whatever it is, right? And you have no options, so you gotta do it.
It's two things. You have to tell yourself it's worthwhile, because
Yeah.
a lot of people around you would tell you that, why do you spend time doing this when you can earn money, or you could go out with your friends, because I've been making music myself for like 30 years now, and I've spent so much time on my own, sitting in somewhere while everybody else were having a good time out on town or something. And that's so it's you have to convince yourself that it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
And also you have to be 110% all the time, at least if you are if you want to make something good.
Yeah, absolutely. There was the same when I began interviewing people, and I started calling people during the pandemic. A lot of people say, "Hey, nobody will listen to you. You have a lot of music, music, but you have an accent in English, and people will not reply to you." And 500 interviews 2 years later, and still going and going and going. And I don't. You need to do, like I said before, right? Be worthwhile for you, and inside your head, you need to follow your dreams. I don't care, in my case, what everybody else think or does or envy or this. I certain goals in my life, and I want to do it. You gotta be one day, at least be 80. I don't know. Maybe I will die when I'm 86. Look back in my life and say, man, I did exactly what I wanted to do. I don't want to be all say, man, why I didn't do that stuff? Why I didn't follow that dream? No. That's foolish to me, according to me, right? You need to follow your dreams and go for it. It's going to be hard, yeah, but you put more energy in stuff.
I guess we kind of did this because on stage we were in LA at a hamburger restaurant with a not famous manager, but he was like doing some quite well-known bands, and he was maybe wanting to work with us. And at one point he said, "So when are you moving over?" And we were looking at each other, just what do you mean? There's no chance we're going to move to LA to live in a small apartment. The 4 or 5 of us, no, won't happen. And taking that decision kind of saved the band. It saved the music, everything, because all the time we have been able to make the music that we wanted to make. We haven't had any pressure at all, because we've been indie all the time, so full control. So it was a very good choice, but it was a crossroad there and then, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I think the band was you, Ulf and Jo formed the band in 2000, right? At the time, you were like more instrumental and sample vocal voice project, that type of project. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, we made some. Me and Jo made some tracks, and then we met Anja, and she did a Beatles cover with her then boyfriend, his band, or just
it was his band, but actually it was more.
You. So I heard this, and then I always wanted to make a cover of Blue Monday, the New Order. song, and Anja came in, just did it. I'm not sure if she even heard this song, but she just did it, and then that's more or less what came on tape on the record. So that's why we didn't do much more instrumental music.
Yeah.
And then I think a year later, you end up picking. You guys didn't have a name, right? So in 2002, the band chose the name Flunk, and after the right, like you say, the cover of the New Order Blue Anthem, which is very good. What was the name of the decision of picking that particular name as for the band name?
Calling it Flunk, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's because I'm a huge Kurt Cobain Nirvana fan. I used to, still am, but it's kind of in the Nirvana school. It's the opposite of bragging, So yeah.
It's also very Norwegian. Norwegian is very. It's like Norwegian social culture. You shouldn't brag.
No, that's true.
That's true. So it's a combination of Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, and very Norwegian social culture.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
You're talking yourself down. It's a way to do it, but it feels better than wearing a crown and this red cape.
Yeah.
Here in the United States, people are the opposite.
Yes, we know.
Right, like me too, probably sometimes talk to people in the every time they interview someone from the UK, for example, they're very humble, they're very quiet. They don't talk that much about the song. So that's why I sort of became a psychologist in music, because I want to get some information out of them, and they're very introvert. They're quiet, they're reserved. They don't right here in the United States. People are very different, so it's a different culture. But you gotta tell the truth, right? So if you're famous in what you do, it's nothing wrong. You're not going to say that people are famous, but say that people like my music. We have done well with playing here and there, and you can infer that the people are kind of famous. And the first track with was very good. I think it was released in a Beatservice record in the winter 2012, and then I think you called the attention of a manager at the time, right? And then you end up releasing your first album, right?
In the States, I mean. Oh.
No. For the beginning of the first album, right? That track, right? When you finish Sleepyhead Only for Sleepyhead Only. I mean that particular track, right? The moment they called the attention, I think, from a record label or a manager, right? And then they decided to perhaps help you, or you didn't have a record at the time, which is very unusual. Most of the time, bands need to present a lot of material before any record label approach you and say, "Man, we want to sign you up for our record," right? Your case was, you guys got lucky, I suppose, at the beginning, right, with that particular track, right?
Yeah, I guess. And this is not to brag, but I had already made I think 3 or 4 albums with the Norwegian language pop thing.
Yeah.
So I had at least one like top 3 hit in Norway with this band before Flunk. So I guess this could explain that there was an interest in what I was doing before we had an album ready.
Yeah. And then 2 years later came Morning Star, the second album, right? Where you was getting subtraction. Were you able to, after the second, where you play some class, small venues, coffee shop in your country, where your music was playing? Is there radios in your country that they try to help the local bands and play your music, or instead of more American, or no, or there wasn't any help?
And the truth is, we had some good reviews, but in the music press, we had some really bad reviews on Sleepyheads in Norway.
Really?
So,
Yeah. Or it like was from this was like on the top and on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of strange because at the same time we had very good reviews in the UK.
Yeah.
For the album. So yeah, but we've never really broke through in Norway. I know we had this song called on My Balcony from Morning Star, the one you just mentioned. I think it was on kind of a list they were voting for this year's summer hit on some radio channel, and I think that's almost the only.
There were more like smaller radio stations or programs that were more into electronic music. That hva het han som spilte mye sånn Citrus og sånn.
Yeah,
so it
national
was,
radio. Actually.
Yeah, so it was more independent, like programs that played it. And in the couple of first year, we had like some gigs that were on the big festivals in Norway. But after that, it's been more. We always like more had a scene broad from like the beginning. So
yeah, we've
luckily, I would say.
Practically, I guess I would say practically as band we are almost unknown in Norway. I think.
Yeah, almost. Or not.
And then,
yeah.
And then you guys were working full time or going to school full time, because you were not making any matter of music. Or music was like a sort of hobby, right? That you were doing. Well, we like music, but we need to pay the bills, right? When I get married or whatever, I need to work, right? So it was, you were not receiving any income from.
And then we're back to the Anja's two brains, because I guess all of us, at least me too, have always been working. Like the first time I got the record contract, they said, the A&R said, do not quit your day job. And I never did, actually. Well, a small period around 2000. But yeah, so we've always been working.
Yeah, also many years like kind of part-time. Like to be able to, at least many of us. You for many years.
Yeah, true.
And me. So we had like, you work, so you
but we also,
you work so you can eat and have a place to live.
Yeah, and you know, with I think all of us got a family, you know, so it was never. We were quite old when we started Flunk. I was, at least.
I was young.
You were young.
Or how old was that? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose it's difficult to make it at the beginning, right? And then 2 years later, then 2006, you know, you guys tour here as a mini tour in the West Coast here in the United States. What was the motivation, right? So you wouldn't, you were not that's famous in your country, right? In Europe, but you decided to, well, try the US market, right? And you came here to the United States in 2006, right? For like a mini tour in California. What was the motivation? Because you guys took a lot of risk, you know, expensive to come here. You need to have like a working visa, I'm told. And that what was the motivation? You felt that maybe we are not that well known in Norway, but our music is good. We feel our music good. We should give it a try and go to the United States to see what happened?
I think already we were selling quite a lot. So we had a track on the OC, which I never seen, but which were really popular. It was some stage, so we were much more known in the States than in we were selling a lot more records in the US. So yes, and we had we did this on a US label. So the kind of it was a market, I think, for us. So it didn't feel like a big risk. I don't think it was like our money. It was sufficient money in the project, I think,
at that time. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And then you guys, I think you referred to the live studio appearance in is a very famous radio station called KEXP.
Yes.
Every so often I see some bands that they go and have like a YouTube channel where they put some very good bands, actually. It's a very well-known radio. And so you came here, right? I think you played in San Francisco and in Los Angeles, and then and Seattle. And then, so at the time, you guys, were selling CDs. You came to the United States. You were doing okay financially, and from motivation or point of view or strategy point of view, what would the next decision would have been at the time? Stay here, keep on recording, go back to your country to, because a question in your head, you say, man, why we're not popular in London, right, in the UK and in our own country, but we're very popular in the United States, which is very far away, right? So a question in your guys' heads, what's the next step? What do we do, right?
I'm not sure. It was just fun, wasn't it?
Yes. I think that was the time we had the meeting with the manager in the States, and he asked, "Are you coming over?" And we could. I think he was like, it could be like Coldplay or he said something like that. We thought, no, Coldplay is great, but we don't want to be like Coldplay. I love Coldplay, but so we said no, we're going back home, making our own music. And at that time we also played in the UK. Didn't we?
It was never. We just wanted to. I'm not sure. We didn't have any plans at all.
We didn't have. We haven't been planning a lot. We're very bad at planning.
There's no strategy.
Very good at lists, but very bad at planning.
Yeah. And then a little bit later, you end up releasing your next album, Personal Stereo, in 2007. Were you becoming more popular in your own country as well, or no? Or no, even that. No, really? Wow, very strange.
Yes.
Your music is very good, man.
And was it which 6-7 times that on Personal Stereo, and then the Morning Star? Yeah, or at least then it was one song from Morning Star was a bit popular with the boss at the most famous radio station, I remember. But
what was happening at this around these years? We played our first show concert in Turkey, and Turkey, for some reason, Istanbul is the one city in the world where we are most popular on streaming. So we have played there not every year, but a lot of times since, and we have. It's kind of the place where we get most people. The fans are really, really dedicated. So this was the first time was around to this personal stereo album.
Yeah.
I think.
Then later on, you end up going to China.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. Was the music popular there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it's a big country, so we don't have to.
It's not like there's like 50,000 on the concerts. It's for bands like us. It's the same everywhere we go, in the US, in the UK, in Oslo, in China. There's always around 200 people. There's these kinds of clubs, you know, and they all know the songs. They're singing along, and in China they are very polite, so they always clap.
Very silent until
the song is finished, and then they clap. But they did know the lyrics, and they were queuing. We were doing like an hour and a half signing and taking photos after the concerts, and you know, traveling around in China is fantastic. You know, the nature, the food,
people.
Yeah.
the people. So we did this 3 times. Get very tired, but it's so worth it.
Yes.
What about Japan? Do you tour in Japan at all? No.
Yeah, no, we should have.
Japan. Yes, absolutely.
It's a great country. A lot of people. But music is very well. I have interviewed a couple, 2 or 3 bands from Japan, more progressive music. They have done very well there. I mean, and some shoegaze band also have played there in Japan, and maybe you should look into that. I mean, people in Japan, although they are very quiet, very different like Chinese people, but they are very respectful, and they would like your music, man. Quite sure they will. You know, maybe you should look into that. See if talking to a tour player, see if you can play there. It's something. If that's something that appeals to you, but
I love it. I've been to Tokyo 3 times last just before the pandemic, and so I love, you know, the Japanese culture comes from a different place than the European, and I like it a lot. You know, the polite, quiet. So we should, and they should like our music. I think they do. It just didn't happen yet.
And then in 2013, you end up releasing a new album, Lost Causes. And I think you play in a festival here in Austin, in Texas, right? As well. That was the second time you were here in the United States, or? And then people like the music, I suppose. There was a big festival, and where then again in your head, and why we're more popular in the United States and we're not popular in our own country, I suppose, right? I'm quite sure the game was in your head, right?
I think Austin was. I can't think of this concert. I only think of. I had a taxi ride with a limo taxi from city center to the hotel we lived in, and it was like me. It started off just me, and then it was like me and 10 young women who were going to buy some drugs just outside the city center. And I was going early because I was going back to Norway before the others, so I had to go, all this way to find drugs, and then it was some experience. So this is what I remember.
You don't remember the concerts?
I do remember the concerts.
I remember seeing Highasakite. I remember seeing Highasakite in
that's true.
In Austin when they were quite in the beginning. I think.
Yeah, the beginning. Yeah.
They had released the one album. I don't remember the name, and then they were playing like for the first time the hit of the second album, which is called Nobody's in our heaven.
Oh, I forgot. I need to look it up.
Last Wednesday they played, and me and the guitarist, we were like, oh, that's. We got the song on our
In our head, yeah.
brain, as we say in Norway. I don't know how you say it in English, but the song got stuck in our brains, I remember. And then a month later, it was released. Yeah, last Wednesday, I think it's called. Yeah, so, yeah. That's the only time I've seen High as a Kite live, I think.
Yeah, me too, if I was there. I were there, yeah.
Yeah, I think you were there.
Yeah.
And then in 2014, you were playing festival in Poland, Ukraine.
Yeah, that was first.
Right?
That was, yeah. Yeah, that was
One
very
memory.
It was a sort of hippie festival outside Lviv, Vov. And, you know, lots of military on the border and stuff. But this was like heaven on earth, this festival around the lake in the middle of nowhere. So that was, you know.
Yeah, and I think they already then been invaded the
Crimea.
Yeah, was already invaded, so it was like
just after that.
Yeah, and there was a lot of Ukrainian flags all over the camp. I remember, and we couldn't fly to Ukraine because of that occupation. So we went to Krakow, and went by car to
Lviv.
And then we also got to be very good friends, but that was another time, with the Ukrainian artists. That was when we played in Krakow. I don't remember when that was. Another story.
Were you playing? Were you playing in Norway as well? In some clubs at the same time, or mostly going to other countries?
Yes.
But we did play some in the beginning. We were playing Oslo, but then for many years I think we did play. We played the last few years. We have played some concerts again in Oslo, but it's just the way. It's
a bit after the last album, wasn't it? That we played that music fest and. The radio station, so it was like a little bit.
And then in 2017, you end up releasing an album called Chemistry and Math. Feel free to elaborate in the core, because I'm an engineer, so I'm always looking for numbers and patterns in my head, and that's very kind of math oriented. I don't know where the cover come from. Quite sure a lot of people have asked you the same question, because it's different, unique, right?
But the cover?
Yeah, the cover of Chemistry and Math. Yeah.
Do
you remember where the cover came from, or
the cover? Yeah.
I must try
from your brain.
I'm doing the science, so.
If you don't remember, that's okay.
Yeah. Do we have that? We don't have it here.
It's a very good album. Well, all your music is very, very good. I mean, but I just I got curious because it's the chord is very different. It's like a lady with an umbrella.
Yes.
And then like dots or number 1010. Very math oriented. That's what I'm saying.
You know the bubbles.
Yeah.
It's washing liquid on the where is cooked things. The oven.
On the oven.
On top of the oven.
Yeah.
And when you if you take washing liquid and water, and you will get this bubbles. So I was taking pictures of this and put this on top of. It's a picture of a street art piece from London. So the umbrella lady was from a wall in London, and I sort of didn't. Obviously, it wasn't signed, and I didn't know who did it. But she got in touch with us later, actually, she quite surprised about seeing her piece on a record cover. So, but she took it good.
Yeah, wow. And then you guys did another tour in China, back into China again, right? In 2019.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
when you to go to China, how many usually, when you go to a particular city, right? How many gigs do you do in a particular country, or you pick like three or the top 3 or 4 cities in a particular country to play it, or?
In China, we usually, at least the first 2 times we travel there, it travels so far and it's expensive to travel. So then we had about 10, at least the first time, 10 gigs in 12 days, I think.
Yeah.
And a bit less the second time, and a bit less the third time, because it takes a lot of time to travel, even though it's like great with the train and everything. It's like train. Usually we travel very fast with the train, but then when you come to the train station, you need to like go into the city center, and the city it has like 25 to 35 million citizens, and then like it takes 2 hours to go to where you're going to play.
Yeah.
So the first couple of times we had a lot of gigs, but then less the last time.
But always like,
yeah,
we were staying for like 10 days.
10 to 12 days in China. But usually when we travel in Europe, we have mostly 1 to 2, or at Poland we can do more, but usually 1 to 2 concerts, and then back to Norway, and then
we do weekends, and then we go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yes. We do.
Very good. Very good. I noticed in the Spotify you have 150,000 monthly listeners, right? Or so, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's I can tell you, we didn't expect this.
Really? It's very good, man. Very, very good, man. Some bands don't even have, of course, some bands have millions, but it's pretty good. I mean, I know, when you are being a stream or Spotify, you don't make much money, because usually, you need to have like 1 million hits to get $100 or something, right? So, but you're getting a lot of exposure for free, right? The company taking all the profit, but people like me listen to this, but you're not making any money. But at least from my point of view, it's a great thing. I'm on the other end of you, right? I'm a consumer of your product. It's a great marketing tool, because allow me to get exposed to a lot of bands all over the world that perhaps I wouldn't have not known if it wasn't Spotify. From your point of view, it's like a ripoff, because your music is being played all over the world. People like me all over the world go into Spotify, listen to it. You don't get any money, right? So, which is very, very unfair, right?
I think it's worse. We are good because we never had enormous amounts of money from this, and we don't need it. It's not what we're after. But for people touring a lot, jazz people and stuff, when they stopped selling CDs, it was like suddenly nothing, because they were doing quite good on touring, and quite a lot on CDs, and suddenly everybody stopped buying it. So for them, it's much more. It's worse. It's totally different world for them.
During the pandemic, obviously, it was very bad, because if you were a touring musician, you couldn't tour, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't make any money. More and more, fewer and fewer people are buying vinyls and CDs, so it's tough. You make money when you tour, and if it's COVID, you cannot tour, right? You need to stay home. So many bands disappear. Some of the
Many
bands that
bands-
I have been in the past, they disappeared. They went back to school, they got other jobs, and they forgot about music. You know,
Yeah,
so
many bands, many venues. Still there are venues disappearing by the month in the UK,
Yeah.
probably everywhere. And what we're seeing, as we tend to say, we have to admit that capitalism won the battle. So I think it's culture is the loser, and I think music, live music, is one of the biggest losers after the pandemic and in this economic situation.
In your country, many small clubs kind of disappear, but at the same time, music is very important in your country. I mean, like I told you before the interview, I've always wondered why I have interviewed 20 bands from Norway and few from Finland or Sweden, close country, and say why they gotta be great bands in those countries that have not reached out. And somebody explained to me that I don't know who it was, but you have a couple in I don't know, Thorsten, I don't even remember what the cities were, but there were a couple of very good, important musical school, and the government in your country put a lot of emphasis in art and music. So that's what a lot of kids, when they're 13, 14, 15, they can pick a technical school, right? Or a musical school. That's what there are a lot of, according to me, very great musicians in your country, and perhaps they are not that famous in your country, they're not popular, they're not making any money, but they're very good. So I'm always wondering why that's the case,
I don't know. Like compared to Middle Eastern Europe, Middle Europe, they're more focused on music schools there than we are in Norway. But we have good like jazz education, and but not from very young age. Or there are music schools, but it's not like I don't think it's like exceptional.
No, I think there's a lot of very well educated musicians in Norway.
Yes,
that's true, and also, but I think one of the things about the Norwegian popular music, I think, must be we have we're a well-off country, so we have money, so we are not that interested in. We are practical people, so we're not that culturally focused. We like sport. It's getting much more money, but we do have lots of great, really quality rehearsal places. Buildings used only to. We have a rehearsal hotel just down the road, and it's a rehearsal hotel. It's loads of rooms with great equipment. Everything is working. You pay just a little bit of money to play there for 3 hours. It's the facilities. It's just great, and we have quite a lot of this.
And also. At least for some years, there were like these youth centers where me and my friends started playing, where you could like rehearse for free, get instruments, go to the studio for free, which is very and have music lessons for free. At least in Oslo, it was like some places for that, and all these things, and also that we're a country with where we are very lucky to have a good economy. People have the possibility to do different things. Like you can have a part-time job. At least you could. Now it's more difficult, but you could have like a part-time job and be well off, and then you could like change what you wanted to do during life without any problems. So it's like, I think it also has something to do with basic economy, that you, if it's hard to get jobs and you have to have 2 jobs to survive, you can not also do music. But if you can survive with half a job, then you have the time to do music.
It seems we can afford it.
We can afford it, yeah. So, but it's harder times under COVID. I know that a lot of artists, and both in music and in other art forms, they were having a hard time and had to like change their occupations and yeah.
Like sound engineers, we have all over the world, but a lot of them they just had to go somewhere else. I guess this is a global thing. Oh, battery.
It's a battery problem.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. For some, it's sad. Unfortunately, that's the reality of life. Some professions are more affected by different economic situation, but
still in Finland and Sweden, or maybe I'm not quite sure, but they have also had an okay economy, but maybe not. I don't know. What do you think, Ulf, compared to Sweden and Finland and about the economy? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm not sure. In Sweden, they have a really big music industry since ABBA, since the 70s, which is very different from Norway. We never had this big industry thing with music. Finland is more odd. It's very far away in the corner.
Yeah, but let's say in Oslo, right? Are there many clubs? Not 100, but good one, or record store or vinyl where young kids, can go and listen, whether you are, I don't know, 18 or 20 or 22, you can go and take a train from whatever city you are to Oslo, see a concert, and then come back the night, or buy music, buy vinyl, their CD store, their vinyl store. They're popular, they do well, or?
Norway had a big, HMV in the UK, like Virgin Megastore. We have one of these big chains, and they're really struggling. It's almost, I think it's just one shop in Oslo left. But we do have a very good indie. Just one, I think, survived in Oslo. Very good record store, vinyl, and we have a secondhand, very large, good secondhand store. We have. I'm not sure if there's still quite a lot of smaller live clubs.
Yes, still lots of clubs here, and Bergen is very big as well. Bergen also had a big music scene, still have. So,
and there's also
go ahead.
Youth clubs. This actually what surprised me. I wasn't aware of it, but my daughter's boyfriend is in a band, and they were playing in the city center of Oslo at a club where it was I think no age limit to get in and no alcohol, but it was really good. Very central in Oslo, a very good club. It surprised me because I've never been to a city having a club, a non-alcohol club in the city center, being just a good club, if you understand.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's because here where I live, I don't know, maybe the economic situation is different, but there's so many venues here. Because, like I told you at the beginning, I live in the border with 2 different states, right? Which is about, I don't know, 15, 20-minute drive. And so many good venues. You can see, I don't do it because I need to work and have a family, but some people can see 200 shows a year. If you have money, of course, you need to pay the ticket. But there's so many. Come on, pretty much a concert every night if you want.
Mm.
Some obviously, some are, the big names are more expensive, but there's many smaller venues for well-known artists that are in the 60s, 70s, they're getting old and they're touring to make a little bit of money. And you can see concert for $40, $50. Then, of course, 200, 300, where all the big names. So it's people see a lot of, it's a big country as well, but there's so many good venues. And a lot of people go to see music, go to see concert here. And record store vinyl, they do very well. They do very well. So
I think we have still many venues that are quite good, like in the compared. It's not like very big venues, but like where there are rooms for maybe 200 to 500, which are always have a lot of interesting artists. So you would be able to go to a concert, like a good concert.
There's a good artist in Oslo almost every night.
Yeah. So you would be able to do that if you had the time and the money and everything.
I think it's post-pandemic. It's and this with the economy like it is, it's quite expensive flying bands in, and also we're going to Spain in October. We never played Spain, so we go to Barcelona and Madrid, which should be fun. But it's we have 5 people flying in. It's quite small venues. It's not much money in it in Madrid or Barcelona either. So it's not good. You're lucky if you can go break even.
Break even, yeah. I was looking at the live tours coming up for you. You play in October 30 in Sweden, then in Sweden again, Madrid, Barcelona, and then you play in next year in London in the UK. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
That's pretty good. You guys are rehearsed. You got together again like 2 weeks before the gig and rehearsing, or you something like you do on a weekly basis. Every Saturday you get together, or every 2 weeks you get together. No,
it's it's when how many years now?
We've been playing over 20,
13, 20? Yeah, 20.
22, maybe.
Yeah. So we couldn't, do this once a week.
No. Then we would split up.
Yeah. That's the only reason we're still a band is we didn't say yes to this guy in LA moving over, and it's because we do it in our tempo, and that's why we're still doing music together. So, but we do like 2 or 3 weeks before. Then Anja says now we have to get starting, and
yes,
and then we get started.
I get very strict, and then everyone.
Almost the theory the next week. So it's in a month, like in a month from now, 5 weeks from now. So you gotta start together, get practice. Yeah. So
but now it's like we practice more when we rehearse new stuff. Like then we need to like find out how would you do the new songs, and then we change around the old songs a bit to have like usually me and Ulf, we come together and have some thoughts about how we would like the live set to be. At least have it like the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But before we travel to like a cabin in Sweden and stay there for a couple of days to find out how the sound is going to be on the new material live.
Yeah.
But now we kind of for this concerts we kind of like already have the skeleton of the
and
the live sets from the spring,
and also we're playing in Sweden. We have never played Sweden actually for some reason, so it's the first time, and I think it should be a basic set also in Spain. So
and usually you guys play for a couple hours, or
No, maybe
hour and a half.
1.5 hour, maybe.
I must say, this is not bragging, but it is. But we've never been. But the sound is really good.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
All right, I need to go and fly and check
I
that
think
out.
we could have rehearsed a bit more. That's always
Yeah,
my.
always.
I
But
always,
we've never been
yeah.
better as live band. Never.
Maybe. Yeah.
Possible.
Any possibility of releasing a live album for one of these gigs, or no, or you wouldn't make the money back?
We're not that good.
No, but what I'm saying, okay, so let's say Spain, right? You go in Madrid, the October 14, and then Barcelona, October 15, right? So, if let's say in the gig that you played in Sweden, right? In August. So, if you get rehearse the material well, and you play an hour and a half, 90 minutes, whatever, you were to read the CD, yeah, on your own record label, right? You don't have to go to any company, so it's not that expensive to do it. And then when you go to Spain, you can sell, I don't know, 100, 200 CDs, or make a little bit of money, or no, or it doesn't work that way.
We've never been good at business.
No,
we don't
no.
have any merch at all.
Yes, we do, but not that much.
Not that much.
But we're not very. We're very bad at business. Actually, we're more.
But that's not important, That's important.
Yeah, but still, that's why I said earlier about I often get disappointed at live gigs, and when I listen to recordings, I really mean it. We're really good, better than ever. But when you listen to it afterwards, it's not good. I don't think it's good enough for releasing.
It's not good enough, or it's good enough?
Not most of the time. It's just not. It's not.
Quality, maybe sound quality. Yeah.
The quality and it's just not musically. If we could mix it, yeah, but as a recording of the concert, not very often. I think it's the quality that is required.
Yeah. It's more like the magic. It's always with live. It's like more the magic happening there and then, and the magic between the band and the audience. That is the most magic, and you can never recall that usually, or I don't know. At least we're not good enough to recall that with the recording. So some things that feel totally right. Like in a concert, because there is something happening there with people. You can't put that into a CD So I think
it's a good business idea.
Yeah. If we were good at business, we could do that.
You guys don't. The band, they don't. Since you guys don't see one another every week or something like that. That's one of the reasons that you can keep the band together for many years, because you don't see one another, so you don't fight, you don't argue that much, right? Like, I don't know, like other bands that play every night and they get tired of one another.
This is like family. It's just like family. So if you imagine you living with your kids for 40 years, there would be a lot of disharmony.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was joking about that. But, no.
but we are kind of a family, because we know each other for so many years, and we know we grown up with I know your children, and we also meet outside of the rehearsal room, and we can be more friends, kind of, and also we meet to play. Just to play, not the whole time, but a bit separately, and doing music, kind of being in music without it being Flunk rehearsal. So we have, we have smaller projects sticking out from bands, where we also go to. Where we support each other, and So it's like a big family, and then but not regular rehearsals, because then I would be very happy, but the others would die.
Yeah, they were looking at the time, and yeah, I got it. Well, hopefully I will be able to see you guys playing live one day, you know?
Yeah, we would really, really like to go to this US soon, but I think it's about, we'll have to, that's a break-even tops project at this stage. But we never played the East Coast. We should really, really do.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but maybe I will surprise you one day in Spain or in the gig in London in February next year. Yeah, I go to London like 2-3 times a year for work and music.
The London gigs, I guess, when like this last time, it was fantastic. So it's a very good crowd we have in London. So
yeah, and I know the place you're going to be playing, the Forge. Yeah, I know the place. I know many clubs in London, everywhere, man.
The Forge.
Yeah. It's I have seen some gigs over the year there. It's a small place, but yeah, I'm lucky that I'm able to travel, and because what happens, so many bands, they don't come here to the United States. Many bands that I like. So every so often I look at the calendar. I'm always looking at the calendar to see who is playing, and I don't know, I take like a week off and then fly, see other bands, and then come back, because otherwise they would never tour here, you know. So because very expensive. So I need to make money and then try, fly, see bands, meeting people, take picture and get some CD autograph, and then come back, and I'm happy. So music is well, it was very nice talking to you guys. Feel free to mention your website where people can buy your music, your vinyl or merchandise, or you need to put more emphasis in merchandise, man. I will convince you. Maybe what I should do, I gotta go to one gig, record it, mic it up properly, mix it, and give it to you for free, and they can start selling that stuff. It's important to, people believe it or not, people, they like to buy stuff. A picture or a meet and greet, or a picture with the band, or a T-shirt and CDs. It's, I don't know. To me, it's important. So it's part of the business. It's like 25% is music. The other 75% is merchandise. You need to make money. You need to break even or whatever. Going to Spain is not free, right? So you need to somehow figure out, well, we want to sell 200 CDs in every venue, and we can sell some T-shirts, and if I were there, I will convince you to.
We have to make something for February.
Yeah.
We'll make something.
Yeah. People in the UK like to buy stuff. People in Spain too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't sell, 500 T-shirts, I suppose, but if you have a nice logo, nice design, you can make it in some countries worth for a couple $2 or $3. You can sell it for $30 or something, and you take a picture with the.
We'll pull ourselves together.
Yeah. We'll make a list in a meeting, and we'll find some.
But there's several people reacting, saying, why don't you must have merch?
Yeah.
You do sell CDs and vinyl, though, but no, they want like T-shirts and stuff. So, yeah.
But when you at the end of the concert, you don't have like a merchandise section where you can sell stuff?
No. We do sell the CDs and the vinyls. And sign and take photos. So we spend like an hour at least after every gig. So we don't have when talking about merch, I mean like T-shirts and
perfect. Yeah. Feel free to mention your website and where people can buy your music. Is in, you don't have your own website, Amazon, or any feel free to mention where people can buy your music, or
you can buy I guess Bandcamp is a good place.
Bandcamp, yeah.
I like the concept, and you can get everything there, I think, and at a good price. So go to Bandcamp and search us. We have a website called flunkmusic.com, which is get stuff, but yeah, Bandcamp.
Yeah, I got it. I will send you a separate email because I'm interested in buying some music for you guys, a couple of the vinyls, a couple of CDs, and for you, all of you sign it, I pay for the shipping and everything, so don't worry. Because for my own collection. Huh?
We can fix it.
Yeah, because I like your music. I think you guys are great, and don't give up. Keep on working and keep producing great music. There's a lot of people out there that like your stuff.
We actually we're doing a new song these days. So the plan is it should be out in October, which is kind of the start of the next album.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, man. Hey, it was very nice. It was very nice talking to you. Good luck to you with the new tracks you're putting together, the new album, and hopefully I will see you live playing in Spain or in the UK next year. So I'm looking forward to. I will let you know in advance so we can get out.
Thank you so much for.
No problem. Also, and Anja, no, you guys are great, man. They're a great band. Don't give up and keep on working, man.
You too. Keep it up.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.